Another conditional function that I want to introduce is the COUNTIF function. And it's very similar to the SUMIF function, but instead of summing, we are counting. And I do want to mention that the SUMIF function is a conditional function, but the reason why we used it earlier in the course is because when we were working with our data sets and using the dsum function, I just thought that the dsum function and the SUMIF function kind of went hand in hand. But for this video, we are going to be using the COUNTIF function to count the total amount of each letter grade within this range. So let's click in the first cell underneath the count column and insert our function. We can type the equals sign and then counts and find the COUNTIF and give it a double click. Now let's open up the function arguments window to see what Excel defines this COUNTIF function as. So the COUNTIF function counts the number of cells within a range that meet the given condition. So in order for this function to work, it only requires two arguments, the range and the criteria. So for our first argument is the range of cells from which you want to count non-blank cells. Well, the range of cells that we want our count function to look in is the grade column. And for our first cell in the count column, we want to count how many A's are within this range. So for our criteria, we can select grade A. And if we click OK, our function returns 4. Because if we look at our grade column, we can count there's 1A, 2, 3, and 4. So now let's fill this formula down the rest of our list and see what we get for the other grades. So we can give the fill handle a double click. And our formula counted 2 B's. So let's count the amount of B's in the grade column to make sure this is correct. We got 1, 2, oh, there's a third B down here. So why is our formula only producing 2? So let's click inside this cell and investigate. Well, if we look in our formula, now our range is C4 through C16, which is this range. So it's leaving out this B at the top. And the reason why our range shifted down one row, it's because we used a relative reference for our range. So when we copied this formula down, it also moved our range down. So to change this range to an absolute reference, we can highlight the range in our formula bar and then press F4 on your keyboard. Now we should have the dollar signs in there, symbolizing that this is now an absolute reference, and we can click enter. And now if we fill this formula down, we should get the correct answers. Give this fill handle a double click. Now our function returned 3 B's. So this is definitely something to keep in mind when you are creating or copying formulas throughout your spreadsheet. So this is how you use the COUNTIF function to count cells within a range that meet a certain criteria.